Welcome to the world's most luxurious hotel. It's the beautiful Bellagio in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Championship. As real as it gets. Inside the Bellagio in Las Vegas, a great half-dozen fights for you today. We begin with the aggressive Brazilian, Pierini, as he takes on the man with the devastating knees, Yves Edwards. A return to the octagon for Tony Fryklund. First time back in the UFC since UFC 14. Tony Fryklund is set to take on the nephew of Marco Ruas, Rodrigo Ruas. And then a true banger, Robbie Lawless. They call him Ruthless. He takes on the experienced and dangerous Steve Berger. And then a couple of newcomers in the welterweight division. Zach Light from Team Punishment. The leader, Tito and Pete Spratt, truly a world-class striker. And then the Ranger, Radach, will take on the younger brother of Matt Serra. Nick Serra makes his octagon debut. And in the elimination bout, our featured matchup here from the Bellagio, the return of the Phenom, Vitor Belfort, as he takes on the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to what we're calling UFC 37.5 from the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Alongside my partner Jeff Osborne, Mike Goldberg, we're going to call it today the Road to Tito, and Vitor and Chuck are on that road.
We've been waiting for this fight a long time. Many people have been waiting for Vitor to return, and the winner's going to get Tito Ortiz possibly down the road, and that's one we've been looking for a long time. There is a buzz in the building for the first time on network television. A lot of the young fighters are really going to pour it all on the line tonight.
Speaking of network television, it truly is an honor to welcome back to the broadcast team here on the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the host of NBC's Fear Factor, Joe Rogan, our old sideline guy, interviewing the fighters years ago. Joe,
back again.
Hey, you know, the nice thing about you being part of this today is that it's monumental for your return, but also because of your passion, because truly when it comes down to it, you are a huge fan of this sport.
I'm a huge fan of Ultimate Fighting, all mixed martial arts. Literally, I don't care about other sports. Like the Lakers won their third championship the other day. I couldn't care less. If they made basketball illegal, it wouldn't even bother me. I don't like other sports. They're boring to me. Everything else pales in comparison to the excitement of mixed martial arts fighting. It is true combat. It's true kinetic chess. It's all the stakes. It's the highest stakes in the world. There's so many more variables than any other sport. To me, it's the most exciting, most fantastic sport in the world. I couldn't be more excited to have it on network television. And I think once the rest of the world gets a chance to see this, and once the rest of the world understands the moves, understands submissions, understands what's going on in there, it's going to be the #1 sport in the world,
well,
I believe.
The passion is persistent, and Joe and I both agree that it is a big day for the Ultimate Fighting Championship and our great and loyal fans. There's always ways to win here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It begins with what we do. We judge the bout. Judges, 3 of them, will score the bout. The bout duration, all of the matches today will be 3 5-minute rounds. As it is in boxing, a 10-point must system is in effect. The opponent gets 9 or less based on effective striking, grappling, aggressiveness, and octagon control. All right, let's get it started with the lightweights.
Sweet.
This fight is 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Now entering the octagon is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing expert with a mixed martial arts record of 5-0-0. Standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Redwood City, California. Please welcome the Tasmanian Devil, Joe Pierini.
Set to go. A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu second-degree black belt. He is definitely known for that aggressiveness and quick submissions, and he does favor the chokes.
Joe Pierini with Eugene Jackson in his corner is set to make his octagon debut. The Tasmanian Devil out of Redwood City, California. His opponent is a good one in Yves Edwards.
Now entering the octagon is a Thai boxing and jiu-jitsu expert with a mixed martial arts record of 8-2-1. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of the Woodlands, Texas. Please welcome Yves Edwards.
His third trip inside the octagon. It's a do-or-die situation for Edwards. Great knees in the clinch. You always have to be aware of that with Edwards. Good submission defense, and he has a big experience advantage over his opponent tonight.
We feel Yves Edwards really has to let it go. He could not finish or be finished by Carl Uno or Matt Serra. Although he lost both of those matchups, we look for him to really try to bring the fight today.
Yeah, he's, as we said, this is time to put it all on the line. This is network TV, and Edwards knows that. He says, I'm coming in here to throw down tonight.
All right, tail of the tape, Pierini against Edwards. A lightweight matchup to begin things here at the Bellagio. Pierini is 30 years old. Some say the most aggressive Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter you will ever see. He does have a reach advantage, being 6'1", and Edwards 5'10". Edwards and Pierini. Cecil Peoples will be our referee. Joe Rogan, what do you look for early?
Well, you know what? We already know Yves Edwards has already been in there with Matt Serra. He's been in there with Uno. He's been in there with real good submission guys. I guarantee you he's been training on defense of that. I guarantee you he's going to come out bombing.
Cecil Peoples ready to get us going.
Are you ready?
Very excited to see Pierini.
Are you ready? Let's dance.
All right, here we go. Let's dance, says Cecil Peoples. Watch for the knees of Yves Edwards.
I hope Pierini has a good shot, a good wrestling takedown to get in there on those legs of Edwards. If he doesn't, he could be in trouble. But those submissions, I've seen Pierini just throw them on people out of nowhere and finish them.
Pierini working his striking with Eugene Jackson. Working in his camp now, the Gladiator Academy. And Pierini has actually been teaching Jackson the ground game, so a good duet there. Question is, can Pierini withstand what happens on the feet, a left?
I'm sure Yves is looking for that takedown. Man,
that's a long reach. Remember, we talked about the reach, 6'1" to 5'10", and Pierini has used the reach well. He glanced the left off the cheek.
Pierini looks comfortable on his feet. He's throwing strikes with Yves. I didn't think he was going to do this.
Come on, guys, let's go now.
Size each other up.
Is trying to finish it. Absolutely connects with a high right kick. Pierini needs a moment. He checks in with Peoples. Timeout is called by Cecil Peoples. What a huge delivery.
What's the problem?
Off the right foot of Yves Edwards.
I don't know if he fell on his shoulder or what. He said he needed.
He says his shoulder is out.
Yeah, his shoulder.
It's a good call. He might have popped the shoulder when he went down. The doctor's attending to the fighter here as Yves Edwards goes high.
Where? Here? Yeah. What happens in a situation like this? They pop the shoulder back in and let him continue?
I think he just,
If he is able to continue, they will allow him. It'll be a doctor's decision as Cecil Peoples now discusses the possibilities of it. He's going to talk to Yves Edwards, and that's it. It's all over. It is all over.
I've seen that high kick before, but he did not go out. Yves is notorious for using that big high kick, knocking people out, but it was a shoulder injury that put it into this.
I was confused in the beginning. I didn't think Pierini was going to try to stand with him like that.
That kick was absolutely as devastating a kick as we've seen. Look at that. Bam!
He said he couldn't lift up his
Yeah,
arm.
right on that looks to be his right shoulder. All the body weight coming down. It could separate his shoulder.
The shoulder they're checking is his left shoulder.
I'll go get it.
There's the high kick.
Let's see if he...
You know, could the force of a kick like that at the head and the shoulder area pop something in the shoulder just from the kick itself?
The force of a kick like that, you might forget you have shoulders.
Yeah, amen. As they continue to attend to Pierini.
There's very few things more dangerous than a guy who's really good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and who could stand, who's got good hands like Murillo. But if you don't have good hands, standing with a guy like Edwards is a terrible idea. You gotta really know what you're doing. That's why I think Matt Serra's got the perfect Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style for no-holds-barred fighting, because he just comes in like a wild animal. He'll throw a jab, he'll throw a kick, but then he just, I mean, we saw it in his last fight with Kelly Delante. He throws a jab, and then he's just on you. He's not gonna stand up. He's not gonna give you your game. He's gonna go directly to his game, and that's exactly how you gotta fight if you're a really good submission guy. Standing with a guy like Edwards is just crazy.
And we saw what it did for Edwards and against Pierini. Official word, let's go up to the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has stopped this contest at 1 minute 19 seconds of the very first round. For the winner, Yves Edwards.
Jeff, you said he had to demonstrate some aggressiveness, and he did in one big shot.
He said, I'm coming to throw down this time. He threw it down.
I think Pierini made a big mistake. I think he made a big mistake trying to stand with him like that.
And Edwards is victorious.
You know, guys get comfortable in the gym. They get comfortable sparring. They really think their hands are good. They feel, you know what, I'm going to work on my striking. But you get in there with a guy like Edwards, who's a seasoned striker. He's a seasoned Muay Thai fighter. He really knows how to bang. And you think you're comfortable until something like that lands.
So Yves Edwards has won for the first time here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. From the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas, it's the Ultimate Fighting Championship, as real as it gets. Brought to you by the Gordon Biersch Brewing Company, beer like it ought to be. And by Crave Entertainment, publishers of UFC video games for the Xbox video game system for Microsoft, the Sony PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system, and the Nintendo GameCube system. The world's most luxurious hotel, host to the greatest mixed martial artists in the world, here today as the Ultimate Fighting Championship rolls on. Welcome back to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. As we mentioned on the top of the show, we are calling it the road to Tito. The road for an opportunity to take on Tito Ortiz, the king of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, present day, our light heavyweight champion. I remember when Vitor Belfort broke on the scene in 1997. He was truly a Brazilian phenom. He has since left the UFC for a number of years. He returns today with high anticipation. And how about the anticipation in the heart of Chuck Liddell, the Iceman, who feels, quite simply, it is his turn. It is his time to get a chance to battle his old friend Tito Ortiz for the light heavyweight belt. But first, they must meet each other, and they will do that here today at the Bellagio. Jeff Osborne, I mean, you hear the name Vitor as a fan of this sport, and you gain excitement.
Exactly. Vitor has had many ups and downs in his life, not only in the sport of mixed martial arts, but his everyday doings. And tonight, I am told that there is a new and improved Vitor Belfort here, and he wants Ortiz. He said that. We've waited a year to see that fight, and Chuck Liddell, I don't know if he wants Ortiz. They're friends, but they have agreed to meet each other. But there's a big obstacle, and that obstacle is on the TV screen right now. Vitor Belfort.
Vitor is all about speed. Some of the most dangerous hands we have ever seen inside the octagon.
Yeah, we've seen him against Vanderlei Silva. Silva, one of the top fighters in the world, and Vitor Belfort just disposed of him in literally seconds. And I think that we may see that Vitor again tonight. But don't discount Chuck Liddell. This guy has knocked out Kevin Randleman, Guy Mesger, and he has a list of long wins.
Well, when you look at the power advantage in this fight, you certainly give that advantage to the Iceman Chuck Liddell.
I don't know.
Really?
It depends on which Vitor shows up.
Right.
If it's the Vitor of old, like took on Silva, Liddell could be in trouble. But Liddell, you know, he surprised me with Kevin Randleman, landed that big shot and just dropped Kevin Randleman in seconds. So it's going to get good here in a little while.
And that is why it is the road to Tito. Joe Rogan, when you were working the fighters, when you were working on the broadcast team of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, is when the Brazilian Vitor Belfort broke onto the scene.
The first show I ever worked was the first show Vitor ever fought in, and it was the first time we ever saw world-class hands in mixed martial arts fighting. I think what Vitor brings that's so exciting is that he just comes at you blazing, with blazing speed. When he wins spectacularly. It's not necessarily a power thing as much as it's a speed thing. Chuck Liddell, I think, is much more of a one-punch or one-shot artist, and Chuck Liddell's also got kicks. Vitor Belfort, even though he's been training Muay Thai, doesn't really use the kicks. This is such an incredible fight. I mean, to me, this is so much more exciting than anything. I mean, more exciting than Tyson Lewis, more exciting. It's just as exciting to me as Tito and Vitor. So I couldn't pick it. I couldn't pick it if you asked me to. I just can't wait to see it.
Now, you and I and many others around the world feel the same way about our main event tonight. Vitor Belfort, the #1 contender fight, the elimination bout against Chuck Liddell. More excitement first inside the octagon.
This fight is 3 rounds in the middleweight division. Now entering the octagon is a Milicic fighting systems expert with a mixed martial arts record of 7-1-0. Standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 183 pounds. Fighting out of Davenport, Iowa. Please welcome Tony the Freak Fryklund.
Been a long time since Fryklund has been in the UFC. He returns tonight. The last fight I've seen him in just a few months back. Devastating punching power. He likes to bang it out and slug with anyone. And now he's training with Pat Milicic.
And he says that has truly been a transition in his life, working with the Milicic camp. So Tony Fryklund is back inside the octagon.
Now entering the octagon is a Ruas Ballet Judo expert with a mixed martial arts record of 1-0-1. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 181 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Please welcome Rodrigo Ruas.
The nephew of legendary UFC fighter Marco Ruas. You can probably look for the similar style. Look out for the leg kicks. That's great kicks. Black belt in Ruas Ballet Judo. And he is here tonight to make his impact in the UFC.
Well, to put it into present day, they tell me Rodrigo does not hit as hard as Pedro Hizzo. So we look towards the pedigree of the former champion, and a great one in that, Marco Ruas, for the fighting style, as Jeff talked about, of Rodrigo Ruas. So we're set for the tail of the tape middleweight bout between Tony Fryklund and Rodrigo Ruas. 24 years old is the young Brazilian. Tony Fryklund in the octagon for the first time since July of '97 is 31, but he says, I'm much different than I was at 27 years old. He said, me at 27 wouldn't last a round with myself now at 31. So Ruas and Fryklund are set to go, Joe.
I was actually there for the first time Fryklund entered the octagon. He had an easy fight, his first one, and his second one he ran into Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson choked him out, and I read an article recently in Full Contact Fighter where he reflected on that, and he learned a lot from that fight, and decided that if he was actually going to do it, he was going to have to train with a really good camp, and he went with Pat Miletich. Couldn't think of anyone better.
Skip Kohler gets us started, our referee for this matchup. They touch gloves, a great show of respect, which is a huge theme in this sport of mixed martial arts. So in the red and black trunks is Tony Fryklund. In the solid black trunks, Rodrigo Ruas, and he will utilize the kicks.
Fryklund looks ripped. He looks in phenomenal shape.
Whoa. Oh, and he's really trying to drive it in towards the young Ruas.
There's that clinch.
Usage of the knee and a quick combination. Good pace
really
to start this.
Fryklund's really looking for the right hand. Really right hand happy.
There's the kicks again, and
Really
Fryklund stepping in.
Telegraphing that right hand, Fryklund is.
Look at the speed of the combinations of Ruas. Trying to finish this one quickly.
He got cracked.
One thing I have noticed about Fryklund is that he tends to run a lot.
Oh my, quick jab.
Good left jab. Fryklund will try to throw as many bombs as he can, and he may burn himself out. Nice right by Fryklund.
Fryklund is right-handed. Oh, that's why. There you go.
And it knocks him down, and Fryklund quickly on top.
Now we know why he's right hand happy. Got a lot of confidence in that right hand. He was telegraphing it a little bit, but it got through.
Fryklund tried to pass his right leg through the guard, or through the legs of Ruas.
You know, it doesn't even look like he's concerned with that. He's just trying to punch.
Tony Fryklund, winner of 7 or 6 straight fights. He is 7-1 in his mixed martial arts career. A Boston native, now fighting with the Miletich camp in Davenport, Iowa.
Blood. We got some blood.
Yeah, I think Fryklund's cut.
Yep.
Nice
Got a good
right hand.
shot there.
Or maybe that's Ruas' cut. I can't tell from this vantage point, but Fryklund trying to capitalize. Nice.
Yeah, working from his back is Rodrigo Ruas.
Fryklund literally uses his left hand just to put it out there before he throws his right hand. Doesn't throw too many left-handed shots. And he's not trying to pass the guard either. He's just content to hang out there and punch. He could pass Rodrigo's guard pretty easily there.
Jeff, for some of our potential first-time viewers, explain guard.
The guard is utilizing your legs to keep your opponent away from you or in close, whatever you would like to do. There he's going.
Oh, look out, heel hook, heel hook.
Submission.
There is utilizing your guard in an offensive manner.
The guard being, just as explained, an opportunity to protect and guard yourself when you're on your back. But Fryklund trying to tee off here. The submission attempt really was never a factor or a danger to Tony Fryklund.
Well, that's the big danger of going for leg submissions. You go to leg for leg submissions, you wrap your arms around that leg, you lose control of that guy's upper body, and he can bomb in your head. A lot of guys go for leg submissions and get cracked in the process. Fryklund's got a big right hand. Now you see why he's so confident in that.
Ruas trying to work. Fryklund trying to step through the danger.
Very tough guy, Fryklund. Determined. That guy is a pit bull.
He certainly is. He keeps bringing the action and pushing the pace.
If he just would get a better position first before he struck. He's content to let Ruas have his legs between him.
Now there was a right that connected. That had some impact behind it.
Ruas looks rocked. He looks rocked.
Fryklund steps in again. He's throwing the combinations.
If you see how Ruas's left leg is in between them, that gives him space and protects him. Fryklund's not able to bomb on him as much as he would be if he would just pass his guard. Right now, he's
another
rocked.
Connection. Yeah.
He's rocked.
Continuing with just over a minute remaining in round 1.
Now he's passing. Now he's looking to. That's it. Now he's looking to pass. Now he passed his guard.
Now with the side, he has a better angle and more leverage.
Rodrigo's got a very slippery guard. He puts him right back in there. Now he's got a closed guard. He doesn't want any more part of that beat down that he's getting from Fryklund.
Fryklund has got to pick his shots. He doesn't want to expend.
And another one.
You got to control the head. Rule number 1, when you're in a guard, if you have a closed guard, you got to control the head. If you don't, that guy can bomb on you.
Fryklund trying to tee off, Ruas trying to hold on here in round 1.
Fryklund is just dominating him. He's just overpowering him.
Ruas cannot gain
right hands, just
any
right
control
hands.
here in round number 1. But still, if he can hold on for 25 seconds,
big right hand.
he'll be able to regain himself. Now, Fryklund, I wouldn't think would want Ruas up. There's no way he wants to let him up because he's been so dominant on the ground against Rodrigo Ruas. 12 seconds remains in round 1. Totally dominated here by Tony Fryklund.
I think Fryklund's confident to get him no matter where it is, standing up or on the ground. He feels in complete control right now. It's just beating him down.
You know, standing up there, Jeff, may have been an opportunity just for Tony Fryklund to catch his oxygen for 30 seconds.
Yeah, look at the sportsmanship. They're both winded, and he helps his opponent up. Yeah, Fryklund's starting to breathe heavily out of his mouth. He's going to get 1 minute of rest here.
Rodrigo is very wobbly. Did you see what he just did? He went to sit down on his stool, and it fell over, and he tried to sit on it anyway. I think he's out of it right now.
Now, Tony Fryklund has been working out with great diligence, and it proved worthy here in round 1.
Fryklund looks very, very, very tough.
You know, Ruas never really, after he went down to the mat there, about a minute into round number 1, Jeff never really got up again.
Yeah, he just absorbed all these punches from Fryklund. I'm told there's been an accidental headbutt, and that's what caused the cut. Here's Fryklund. You see, like Joe said, he didn't even try to pass that guard, pass through the legs.
If he did, it would have been so much more dominant. He just threw that left leg aside, and Ruas was out of it. If he just threw that left leg aside and mounted him, the fight would have been done. It would have been over already.
All right, so Ruas, who likes the stand-up fighting.
Well, I do not like the way Ruas looks right here. He looks very wobbly.
Now, let's see what he can do against Tony Fryklund, who was happy to go toe-to-toe. Started kickboxing and boxing back at age 13, did Fryklund, and very aggressive in coming and taking
His
the
eyes
center
are
of the
very
ring.
wobbly.
Combination, but Ruas answers. Ruas looks like he is trying to just try to make something happen here to take away a bit of the confidence being displayed by Tony Fryklund.
Fryklund is all right hands. He's just right hand happy.
So how do you counter that, Jeff?
Keep your hand up. All you have to do is keep your left hand up. But you know what? He's just so dominating. He's so overpowering. Ruas is beaten down right now too. He's he's 10% of himself right now. It's over. This fight's over.
Tony Fryklund.
Yeah, it looks like they just fell down to the mat.
He's gone. Ruas is gone. He's just taking a beating right now. He's not protecting himself at all. He's not even trying to get his left leg in between.
Fryklund is breathing heavily out of his mouth. Ruas still breathing out of his nose.
I mean, Fryklund went hard to try to finish it in round number 1.
The only thing that's saving Ruas right now is fatigue. Fryklund's fatigue is the only thing saving him. If Fryklund can come up with the energy, this fight's over. This fight's over. He's just bombed. He's not even stopping those punches.
But Fryklund is slowing his pace drastically here.
But you know what? Fryklund backs up. Like, he trains with Militech. Guarantee you, this kid's in incredible shape. He just stays back for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, catches his breath, relaxes a little. This fight's over.
When he stands up as...
Oh, another right hand.
I'm surprised Ruas doesn't try to bring it back to the feet because he is being overwhelmed in the ground.
Guillotine. Guillotine.
He does have a jiu-jitsu background, does Tony Fryklund, so he is well-versed in submissions.
Yeah, he's not going to get
something.
He's not going to get this choke unless he can extend his hips. I can't see where Ruas' head
This looks more like some sort of a weird neck crank. It's a neck crank. Okay, he's rolling into a guillotine.
Ruas trying to get...
The mount. Mount him.
Yeah, this is a dangerous position for Ruas to be in, but he bounced out and ate another right.
Fryklund is so much more concerned with punching than he is with position. Very, very tough guy, but if he just concerned himself with a little more with position, this fight would be over.
So how does Ruas counter, though? What can
Ruas is countering by having his legs in between him. See how he's got his left leg in between him and Tony Fryklund? That's the only thing saving him. If Fryklund would step up, get that left leg out of the way, move his right leg over to his right, and mount him, there he goes.
Look out.
He'll look again. Very dangerous.
He's got get his hand off the fence. We saw a fight in premature.
That's very dangerous.
He's going for that leg,
yes, he
but
is.
He's holding on to the fence.
And he was eating some rights in the process. The Brazilian showing great heart As Fryklund really punishing him still here in round number 2.
And there was a punch out of a video game, a
Yeah.
jumping, lunging right onto the head of Ruas, who is now back to utilizing his guard again.
Oh, another big right hand. Oh, God.
Fryklund really teeing off here. Really teeing off.
This fight can be stopped. There you go.
There's the full mount.
That's what I'm talking about. If he got this earlier, all he needs to do is get those arms from around his back.
Yep, full mount and full mount pushed into the fence.
This fight's over.
Kip Kohler's right there on top of the action.
Fryklund's very fatigued. Very fatigued.
I'm telling you, you got to do something is what the referee says to Rodrigo Ruas. It's over. It's all over. The full mount was the key.
That's it.
As Tony Fryklund was able to finish this fight impressively. And in his return to the octagon, he is successful.
Tony Fryklund was so tough and so dominating, but if he just got that position earlier, if he fought for that instead of just trying to bomb on him, that fight would have been over. He already had him rocked earlier. If he just took the dominant position, it would have been over. Great performance by Fryklund. He's an animal.
Yeah, I gotta admire Ruas for maintaining that guard, keeping his legs wrapped, and not letting Fryklund get through there. I think the wind got the better of him and just trying to hold off the bigger and more powerful men.
He took a lot of big punches from big right hands. Somebody teach Fryklund a left hand in dominant position. Very, very, very tough guy to beat. Just force of will. He didn't care what the position was. He was just gonna. He didn't care where he was. He was just gonna bomb with right hands.
There's that flurry that caught.
There's a nice exchange there, Jeff.
Yeah, and Fryklund landed that big right.
He's all right hands.
You know what? I think that right there, Rodrigo Ruas knew that the only thing he could hope for was that quick hit, was a quick finish. He went for it early part of the second round, didn't have it as Fryklund was able to gain a positive control of Rodrigo Ruas and then finally finish it in the full mount.
Yeah, Fryklund was very, very powerful and, as I said, overwhelming. And if you can't combat that, being overwhelmed by a much bigger man early on, you're going to be in some trouble.
So Tony Fryklund has won inside the octagon for the second time in his mixed martial arts career. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has stopped this contest at 3 minutes, 34 seconds of the second round. For the winner, Tony the Freak Fryklund.
Well, he was on the Coleman-Smith undercard in July of '97. And it looks like he took a little chapter out of Mark Coleman's book, at least in this fight, because it was truly a fine display of ground and pound.
Yeah, ground and pound textbook. He got on top, maintained that position through the whole entire fight, and ended up getting that better position at the end of the fight and scoring the victory.
And a strong victory for the Milicic camp indeed.
He looks fantastic at this weight too. When he fought before, he was fighting in a 200-pound weight class. Just a little too small for that. At 185, he looks like a monster.
Yeah, he was overpowering as he defeats Rodrigo Ruas. We now look back at the fight that made UFC history, that made mixed martial arts history. It's the fight that was featured on free TV on Fox Sports Net's Best Damn Sports Show, period. The competitors, the ruthless one, Robbie Lawler out of the Milicic camp against Steve Berger. Here's the highlights.
Get it on!
It is history, and we have arrived as the class and respect is shown by these two great competitors.
You know, Berger may be skilled in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a ground fighting art, but you better look out for his boxing as well.
Joe, you think about the boxers toe-to-toe in this position. They're watching hands. In the UFC, you've got to watch the feet, the legs,
You've got to watch everything. And then once it gets to the clinch, you got to watch for submissions, takedowns, tackles, flips, everything.
And
that's it right there. This is Steve Berger's son, Robbie Lawler, very dangerous wrestler. That's the problem with a guy who's a wrestler who can bang. When he wants to stay up, he can stay up. And if he's better on his feet striking than you, you're in a lot of trouble.
The quickness of Robbie Lawler brings this fight back to the feet. First,
vicious body
the solar plex body punches and a knee too. They're going back and forth.
Oh, wow.
We figured there would be no bit of passive time in this fight, and there hasn't been so far in the first 90-plus seconds.
That's where that Iowa wrestling comes in. Everyone knows about wrestling in Iowa. It's like basketball in Indiana and boxing in Las Vegas. And there they go.
Beautiful knee.
And ruthless indeed is Robbie Lawler.
Berger needs to stay away from that fence.
Berger's more than happy to be on the ground, though. Notice this?
Yes.
As soon as Robbie took him to the ground, he tried to stand back up, and Berger's like, come on, let's get back down here.
Action-packed round one has 10 seconds remaining.
If I was Lawler, I wouldn't go there with Berger. Very, very dangerous, but Lawler pressing it forward.
Round number one, dominated by Robbie Lawler. Good example of the wide variety of skills utilized here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which makes the sport of mixed martial arts so unique. And not only unique to any other sport, but unique to the sport that was advertised in 1993 and dominated by Royce Gracie. These athletes are so different.
Oh, beautiful right hand!
And you see
gone!
Ruthless Robbie Lawler combination, trying to finish the fight. It's over! It's over! You see the skills of Lawler!
Beautiful!
And he is victorious!
Wow! Wow!
Well, after success overseas at the UK and London, and then at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, we look ahead to the month of September when we head back to the eastern part of the United States for UFC 39. Up next, some more great welterweights.
This fight is 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Now entering the octagon is a Muay Thai kickboxing expert with a mixed martial arts record of 10-4-0. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Sherman, Texas. Please welcome the secret weapon,
Spratt making his UFC debut tonight here in the octagon. Let's see if the secret will be revealed. A good kickboxer. He demonstrates great takedown defense. He doesn't want his opponent to get him to the ground, and he is very strong, and he looks leaner than I've ever seen him before.
He looks ripped. Cool tattoos, too.
Yeah, and a cool guy. He's a rap singer. He's on his 3rd hip-hop album with his group 903 Playas. Handles all his own promotions and marketing. He wants to market himself as a true Ultimate Fighter here this evening at the Bellagio.
I know a lot of rappers like to talk tough. This guy can back it up.
You got that right.
There's a lot of skinny rappers out there talking a lot of jazz. Don't want to say nothing to Pete Spratt. So if you don't like his mic skills, you better leave it alone.
You got that right. He wants to keep this one standing. Let's see what his opponent can bring to him.
Now entering the octagon is an Ultimate Fighting expert with a mixed martial arts record of 5-0-0. Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 168 pounds. Fighting out of Huntington Beach, California. Please welcome the Lisbon Outlaw, Zach Liddell.
Tito looks very angry, or it looks like he just ate a bag of lemons.
A very intense individual, and that man on the right of your screen, Tito Ortiz, does not put his stamp of approval on just anyone. Zach Light is one of the most accomplished wrestlers to step inside the octagon, but he likes to throw down. And he trains with Team Punishment, and that's a good team to be training with in this sport.
Wow, he looks pumped.
Yep, a two-time national champion in wrestling. Zach Light has been with Team Punishment for the past 6 months. I asked Tito Ortiz, our light heavyweight champion, what do you like about Light? He said his wrestling skills are second to none, and his cardio is greatly improved. Tail of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Debuts both ways for Zach Light and Pete Spratt. Spratt is 3 years older, 1 inch taller, and they are set to try to make their mark in the world-famous octagon.
What's up, baby? The word is Zach Light wants to stand with Pete Spratt. We saw what happens when someone tries to stand with a guy who's a great striker. Zach Light's a tough guy, but I hope he doesn't try to stand with Pete Spratt.
Kip Kohler, our referee, and Spratt truly is a world-class striker.
That's a real Muay Thai fighter. Look how relaxed he is.
They show the respect and the regard, and we are underway.
Anything can happen in this one.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Zach Light.
Oh, high kick. What?
Say.
He looks for the takedown, though. Close the gap and jam him towards the fence.
Yeah, I think that cured him of it real quick.
That sounded like a Mack truck hitting Zach Light. And now Spratt tying him up and pressing him against the cage.
I've heard a lot of really good things about Pete Spratt, and he's on his back. Let's see how his ground game is.
Close guard being utilized by Pete Spratt. Not for long, though.
If I was Pete Spratt, I would think about tying him up and trying to stall and get stood right back up. Look at those forearm shots by Zach Light. He is very aggressive.
You know, Light grew up in Iowa, so he is a wrestling product from the wrestling state of Iowa. Now has moved to the West Coast to train with the ultimate of ultimate fighters, Tito Ortiz in Team Punishment. He does have the better ground game, does Zach Light, Joe.
Yeah, Pete Spratt's doing a good job defending on the ground, though. He's tying him up. We saw earlier in the fight with Ruas. Ruas had a very loose guard, very relaxed, kept his leg in between him, didn't protect himself enough. Pete Spratt is much more conservative.
Pete Spratt utilizing his legs there. He's keeping Zach from getting through. You see him backing out of trying to pass the guard.
Very good job of being defensive on the ground. That's what a striker wants. He basically wants to hold Zach Light and eliminate all his strikes, all his submissions, and just get back up to his feet.
And that's what Ruas was not able to do earlier on our card tonight.
Looks like he's trying to walk up the back of the cage. Now he's back on his back.
The question is, how much can Zach Light do from this position?
Well, if he pins Pete Spratt up against that fence, it's going to be difficult for Spratt to do anything offensively. And if he breaks loose from that grip, that bear hug that Spratt has on him, he can explode and throw the punches down.
Zach Light, 10-0 in his appearances in the tough man competitions at Iowa University.
Look at that.
Oh, armbar!
Looking to finish it by submission. Does he have it?
Oh, he's got it! He's got it!
And it's over.
Beautiful! Beautiful! Pete Spratt! That's what I'm talking about!
Oh my, that's how quickly this game can change. He waited for the opportunity, and he finishes.
That's true world-class skills. That's a guy who can strike and a guy who's got submissions. It looks like he was playing possum a little on the ground, but when he saw the opportunity, he took it.
Explosive finish to what was a stand-up, heavy-hitting match. It finally got to the ground, and Spratt. I didn't expect that out of him, but you can always expect the unexpected from the product of UFC.
That's the problem with a guy who's a pure wrestler. A guy who's a pure wrestler thinks he's dominant and controlling guys, and he thinks he's okay, and he doesn't know he's giving up things. He doesn't know he's giving up arms. He doesn't know when he's holding the back of the head or doing whatever he's doing, he's leaving an arm exposed. He's so comfortable on the ground, he has a false sense of security. We've seen it happen time and time again.
And here it is. He's trying to extend his hips forward. If he extends his hips forward and pulls on the wrist, the arm straightens out and hyperextends. And you don't want that to happen. It's time to tap out. And Spratt celebrates. What a UFC debut. You see him trying to work his legs around. Look at that. Perfect.
Yep, spun the hips perfectly by utilizing the fence to push off of.
Well, hopefully he can go back to the drawing board, learn a little more from Tito about defense against submissions.
Now the secret weapon, at least we didn't think it was a weapon that he possessed, was the submission. And that was Spratt's secret weapon here in this matchup at the Bellagio. He wins his UFC debut. Let's check in with Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner at 2 minutes, 25 seconds of the very first round. For the winner, by tap out from an armbar, the secret weapon, Pete Spratt!
Very, very impressive, Pete Spratt. Great strikes, and when the time comes, he knows how to close the show with the armbar.
Muay Thai kickboxer.
You couldn't ask for anything better. A striker who knows how to fight off his back.
World-class striker. All we think is feet, feet, feet. And Spratt wins by submission. And this brings up the point we made earlier about how much this sport has changed, Jeff, in the past decade.
5 years ago, Pete Spratt probably would not have had a clue on the ground or even know what an armbar is. And all Zach Light would know is takedowns, pinning a guy to the mat, throwing punches. But this is evolution. This is the new UFC.
There are very few guys that don't have a full game now. There's still a few guys that exploit weaknesses in the system. There's guys who only strike, like Pedro Hizzo, who only wants to stand up. When Pedro gets down to the ground, his main goal is just protect himself, get back on his feet. The new guys are guys like Pete Spratt. When you get him on your back, on his back, and you think you're safe, you're not. Pete Spratt is training in everything. He's training in submissions. He's training in striking. That's a real Ultimate Fighter.
And a real victory for Pete Spratt in his UFC debut. For much more on the Ultimate Fighting Championship, you can always check us out at UFC.tv.
The Ultimate Fighting Championship is totally new, and that includes the UFC's official website. www.ufc.tv is your new official source for the latest in the world of mixed martial arts and its premier event, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Log on now to check out a comprehensive photo and video clip library from past events, complete fighter profiles of all your favorite UFC stars, and the latest from the all-new line of official Ultimate Fighting Championship merchandise, including hats, t-shirts, and shorts for both men and women, plus autograph cards, posters, digital trading cards, home videos, and DVDs. So log on now to the #1 event and #1 website in mixed martial arts, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, at www.ufc.tv.
Well, it certainly is the website of choice, and if your choice is to try to be part of the action at UFC 39, you should log on and try to enter the contest at www.ufc.tv. Be a UFC cornerman for a day and enjoy a trip out east for UFC 39. Log on now at ufc.tv. Let's get set now for some more welterweights.
This fight is 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Now entering the octagon is a Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu expert with a mixed martial arts record of 5-0-0. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 167 pounds. Fighting out of Long Island, New York, please welcome Nick Serra.
If you want to talk about the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Nick and Matt Serra come to mind as two of the most dominant forces. Both are black belts, training under legendary Renzo Gracie, and they are working on that striking. That could be a major factor in this game tonight.
I wonder if Nick is pissed that Matt already took Terra. You can't have 2 Terra Serras, but look at him.
Well, we figured he was the baby Terra, or Terror, as we say it in the Midwest, Joe Rogan.
The younger brother of one of my favorite fighters. Matt Serra is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC.
And now we get to see baby brother Matt Serra, the first American black belt in Jiu-Jitsu under Renzo Gracie. His younger brother Nick making his UFC debut, the second.
Now entering the octagon is a penetration expert with a mixed martial arts record of 11-0-0. Standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Olympia, Washington. Please welcome Benji the Razor
Radach has been talked about for the last 2 years as being one of the next big things. But there's an obstacle in his way in Nick Serra tonight. In the corner of Radach is Dennis Allman. Radach is a heavy hitter, well-rounded with wrestling, and he trains with a good team up in the Northwest, and he's here tonight. This is going to be good.
I've seen both these guys fight, and in striking, I got to give the edge to Radach. In grappling, I got to give the edge to Serra. This is going to be a very interesting fight.
Now remember, Benji Radach was in Bossier City. He had won originally by a controversial stoppage against Steve Berger. That fight has since been ruled a no contest, so Radach comes in without a record, but this being his second appearance in the octagon. Tail of the tape, Nick Serra, Benji Radach, a night of welterweights. Here's the Bellagio in Las Vegas, a reach advantage enjoyed by Radach. And as Joe Rogan talked about, Radach the better of the strikers. Serra is the Gracie product. Our referee, Big John McCarthy.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I would say he is ready.
Nick Serra is looking at Benji Radach like a pit bull looking at a sandwich. Look at him. Does not want any part of Radach's strikes, though.
Radach
Looking for that shoot.
trains with Dennis Hallman. He's worked out a bit with Team Quest. Randy Couture and the boys also fighting out of Olympia, Washington.
You can tell Nick wants to go to the ground immediately. He's not going to make this mistake Joe Pierini made and try to stand with a striker. Whoa, there it goes.
Sometimes to go
to
to the ground
right
to eat
there.
one.
Very dangerous.
Yep. I think Nick knows he takes a huge risk trying to get it to the ground that first time.
He has got to get in tighter at trying to close the distance. He's shooting from far out.
Yep.
And it gives him time to
He's got the
telegraph.
leg. He's got the leg.
Can he bring it down?
Good sprawl.
Look at that underhook by Radach trying to work it in.
Very good takedown defense by Radach. Very good.
Working hard at it and finally gets it.
No,
for
back
just
up.
a moment though.
Back up. Excellent. Good job by Radach. Nick Serra's working hard.
Fast-paced action is what I expect out of these two.
Jeff, it was once said about Benji Radach that he likes to use his wrestling skills in reverse. What do you mean by that?
He likes to wrestle, but he wants to stand up. So if he could use those wrestling skills to keep standing,
right,
he will gain a big advantage. But now he's in a guard where he does not want to be with a submission guy like Nick Serra because he can slap on an armbar or a triangle choke out of nowhere.
Wrestlers who want to stand up and strike are very dangerous. We've seen that in Chuck Liddell. We've seen it in Robbie Lawler.
Still ahead, Chuck Liddell and Vitor Belfort. Our main event on the card tonight here at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Closed guard now for Nick Serra.
Yeah, he's working those legs up high, but he's pinned against the fence. And if you can't extend your hips to get an armbar or to swivel your hips out, go for a better position, it's going to be difficult.
He's moving. He's trying to lock the shoulder. He's trying to get his left leg over Benji Radach's right shoulder and lock it down.
When Nick Serra was asked what his biggest weapon in a fight is, he answered with confidence, any submission you could possibly think of.
There he goes. See, he's locked it down.
Yep,
he's got the left leg over the shoulder. He's holding it down with his hand. Very close here. Very close.
Any
he
submission
can either get an armbar or a triangle from here.
You could possibly think of. Can he think?
He doesn't
and finish one here. Nope.
He's Radach is working his right arm through, trying to push through. If he gets both arms through there, he'll be able to defend himself from that choke.
Nick Serra does not have the experience in, internationally with submission wrestling that his brother Matt does, but if he trains with Matt, oh, he goes very close to the triangle, very close. All he has to do is lock that right leg. If he gets his left foot underneath, he's locked in. That's a triangle. Very bad position right now for Benji Radach. This could easily be it. Very bad position. He's doing the right thing. He's pulling down the head. Benji Radach is a very tough guy. He's got to defend this.
Radach doesn't have his head all the way through. His leg is not all the way pulled down. He's able to shoot the shoulder through a little bit more, get a little bit more leg over the shoulder to neutralize that choke.
No, he's not neutralizing at all.
Now he's posturing up.
Here he goes. Very good job by Radach. Very good defense.
Great defense by Benji Radach as Serra tried to move in with the choke.
Very good guard by Nick Serra.
And now Benji Radach delivers a straight right and another.
Oh, that's bad.
So he fought through the submission attempt and now he's looking for some ground and pound.
Heavy.
Radach reversing the fortune here in round one.
Heavy hands by Benji Radach.
If I was Radach, the fence is working for him. Don't let Serra off that fence to utilize that guard and utilize his submission attempts. The pace is slowing now, but it can pick up at a moment's notice.
This is a bad position right now for Nick Serra. He's in the half guard. The half guard means hands. Nick Serra can try to protect himself a little bit, but he's in no position to finish from where he is.
Jeff, being on the fence, did that prevent Serra from extending his body and finishing that choke attempt?
I think it did. If you can't use your body and use your hips to swivel that triangle over, to work your legs in a better position, when you're pinned up against there, it's difficult. And now he's trying to move out of the way of the fence. But Radach doing a good job of just pinning him down in a big right hand.
Good job of posturing, too. There he goes. He's trying to lock the shoulder again. As his hips go up high, that's when he's dangerous.
How far has this sport come? Benji Radach says when he first watched the very first UFC in 6th grade, he knew he wanted to compete. I think we're getting old, boys.
Keep an eye on Nick's. Oh,
yeah, there's Benji Radach.
Nick Serra's gonna go. Oh, jeez.
Final 10 seconds of a great round 1. In which Serra almost finished by submission, and now Radach is taking control.
Very good round. Benji Radach's got some heavy strikes.
And he landed about 3 rugged and stiff forearms to the right or the left side of Nick Serra's head.
Well, you know, if Benji Radach is training with Dennis Hallman, he's been caught in a triangle before. He knows how to get out of that. He knows how to posture out. He knows how to stay calm. A lot of fighters would have been finished right there. Nick Serra had that foot in deep. When that foot goes deep into the crook, right underneath your knee, and he locks that in place and he pulls down the head, very difficult to get out of there. If that wasn't up against the fence, that could have been over.
And Joe makes a great point, Jeff, that in working with the fists and the arms and the ability for a ground and pound, he has the skills of Dennis Hallman to a certain degree in his submission defense, but adds the arsenal of a dangerous right and left.
Oh yeah, anytime you mix that stand up with a good wrestler and a guy who knows how to get out of those submissions, you're in some trouble. But look at the look on Nick Serra's face. He's ready for more.
He is indeed.
This is the dangerous part for Serra, trying to close the distance.
He came so close to eating a big right the first time he attempted to close the distance. And remember the first time, he couldn't get the single leg takedown.
I see a big...
There's the double leg, a sprawl. Yep, and right up is Benji Radach. Good sprawl there.
And that's a lot of wasted energy right there. That's a lot of wasted energy. Every time he shoots and he's denied, that takes a lot of gas. Very difficult to take a guy. Oh, nice!
Got him that time.
Excellent takedown defense by Benji Radach. That guy's a stud. Look at that.
Yeah, Serra's got to pull those lookout ankle locks.
Oh, heel hook, heel hook.
And you know, Hallman trained with Matt Human. Those guys know their ankle and foot locks.
Yeah.
Radach knows his stuff.
Notice how Radach's got his left leg pressed right up against his body. He's not going to let Nick get his leg in between that and try to work some sort of a leg submission. He blocked it very well.
Serra's trying to get full guard.
He's trying to sweep.
And he does so, gets full guard.
All right, now Nick Serra likes to move his left leg up. Watch his left leg. If his left leg gets over Benji Radach's right shoulder, he's going to try for a triangle again.
He's also out on the fence now, which gives him more breathing room to work his game a little better.
Don't think Benji doesn't know that either. Benji's going to scoot him right back over there.
Benji works full-time as an electrician, going to school as an apprentice, and he has been electric thus far here this evening at the Bellagio. Mike Goldberg, Jeff Osborne, Joe Rogan. Big night here of fights in Las Vegas, and a big right onto the chin of Nick Serra.
All right, Nick's got his legs locked.
Now what Benji is doing, that is called posturing up. You straighten your body like you're trying to look towards the sky. It alleviates that pressure of the triangle choke and breaks the legs loose.
And it's a lot of energy for Nick to hold on to that and try to keep him down. Nick's got to control his head. There he goes. His leg's going over the shoulder again.
Now this is Serra's world. In the guard, trying to work his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills, as it is the Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu skills in which he has learned.
There he goes again.
The one thing about the submission guy is they'll keep going for submissions.
He's trying. I think he's trying to work something on the right arm.
Yep. And he's not on the fence now, Jeff, so if he does get something, he can extend the body.
Yeah, he is. Radach has got to be careful. Don't get careless. He's dominating most of the fight, but one simple mistake can be capitalized.
To Radach's benefit right now, they're both very, very slippery. Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. Very close to an armbar right right there.
Just over 2 minutes remains in round number 2.
Nick Serra's locking Benji Radach's left arm.
Now Radach's pace has slowed here. He's not staying as busy throwing.
Oh.
There he does there with the left, which Serra tries to take advantage of and working submissions, and now Radach picks up the pace and pushes the tempo again.
Nick Serra's eating some punches on his back like that. Oh, they're standing it up.
They're going to stand it up, so
this is bad for Serra.
And they stand up.
Nick Serra does not want this. Benji Radach is still fresh, and Nick Serra looks a little tired here.
Although it takes a lot of energy to get out of those submissions, it takes a lot to put them on, and there's the single leg.
What are people booing? See, this is a problem. People they're not educated yet as to what's going on.
Being on your back does not mean you're losing this fight. We've seen fights end tonight. Pete Spratt was on his back, whipped out an armbar. And now, look at this move by Nick Serra.
I guarantee you Nick Serra's not going to get armbarred. This is his world right here.
Come on, let's go.
Benji Radach's a great wrestler, but I'm sure he doesn't have the submission skills of Nick Serra.
But as you pointed out earlier, Joe, there's no question he doesn't have the submission skills of Nick Serra, but he works with a submission genius in Dennis Hallman.
Absolutely.
And as Eugene Jackson has said, you know, I went to try to learn submissions, not to apply submissions, but to defend against them, and I think that's what Radach probably possesses.
A lot of guys take that strategy.
Yeah? You agree with that?
I think the best strategy is the opposite, though. I think the best strategy is to get very good at submissions. The best strategy is not to try to beat jiu-jitsu, but to be very good at jiu-jitsu. If you're very good, the amount of effort it takes to defend jiu-jitsu, you can get really good at it. You know, there's a lot of guys, they don't want to give in and admit that the jiu-jitsu is a superior art on the ground. A lot of wrestlers especially. I mean, Mark Coleman's an excellent example. He's been in the UFC since 1996, 1997. He still does, he should have been a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu by now. If he just accepted it, had an open mind and said, you know what, on the ground, submissions are the best. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is the best. I need to get really good at that. He'd be phenomenal. An elite athlete with that kind of grappling skills, if he got really good at jiu-jitsu. Guys are very stubborn, though. A lot of wrestlers especially. Very stubborn and very prideful, and they're very proud. They just want to win by what they're best at, which is wrestling.
Well, and Serra trying to win at what he's best at here in this fight, Jeff, and that is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, if I was Matt Serra.
You hear me? You're getting him down now. He's not afraid to go down now. You get him down again. Let's work it. Have a little bit more.
Big brother Matt.
Leg is a key. Get it?
Matt's telling him he's not afraid to go down now.
You have to work the elbows in the face.
I don't think it's that he's not afraid to go down. I think he's comfortable defending.
We have to punish him. We got to cut him.
Here it is, the replay. He's trying to sink down, and finally gets that much-needed takedown on Benji Radach.
Benji Radach is excellent takedown defense, but that takes a lot of energy, and I'm sure he's very tired right now. And he's comfortable that he can defend on the ground. That's the only reason why it's going to the ground. He wants to stand up and bang.
And Radach didn't apply nearly the punishment to Serra in round 2 as he did in round 1. 5 minutes left. Could we go to the judges' card for the first time this evening? Still ahead, Vitor, Belfort, and Chuck Liddell.
Nick Serra is very tired here. He's telegraphing those shoots.
Yeah, he wants to close this distance and work his guard. Radach is not going to let him do it. Both of them have got to be losing some gas.
Well, that's the problem when a guy basically is one-dimensional. I mean, he's got excellent jiu-jitsu, but that's basically his dimension. He can't stand up with Benji Radach. When Nick Serra's standing up, he looks comfortable to keep his hands up and hold his hands up high, but he's not a threat. He's not a danger to Benji Radach, and that's the problem. That's where a guy like Murillo Bustamante is king. Because not only is he going to choke you on the ground, you stand up with him, he's going to smash you in the face. He's got excellent hands and excellent ground. That's a full fighter.
Look at those forearms.
Benji Radach.
He's locked his shoulder. Good posturing by Radach. When he sits up straight like that, Nick Serra, it's a lot of effort for Nick Serra to keep his legs crossed and try to bring him down. Very strong, Benji Radach.
I'll tell you what, this is a close fight. Radach, I would give round 2, or pardon me, round 1 to, but round 2, a tough one to call with Serra. Keeping him a bit more passive. Now so far, Radach trying to push the pace here in round 3.
That was a nice shot.
Absolutely.
Punch from the guard.
Working for a triangle. Throw a shot in there. Create your opening. Maybe get him to move a little bit more, and a nice shot once again.
You know, the fact that Radach is using the forearms and not the full fist eliminates the possibility of exposing that arm for Nick Serra to jump all over.
Not entirely, but it does a little bit.
Yeah,
the problem is that they're slippery.
Extending that arm is dangerous.
Yeah.
I think he's using those forearm shots because Serra's holding him close and you can't extend your punches.
Big John.
He's trying to stay busy, but not busy enough as they stand him up. And that is advantage Benji Radach.
Yeah, every time they...
Oh, there's the big right. And down goes Serra.
John McCarthy's keeping a good eye on Nick Serra after that right hand.
Back up, and Nick Serra does not want to be here.
Very fatigued.
Radach has to feel he's got a chance to finish it.
Nice.
And there's the guard hop. We've seen Matt Serra use it. The crowd may not like it, but sometimes it's very effective and can win a fight.
Well, the problem right now is Nick Serra looks a little bit too fatigued to control Benji in this position.
Come on, you got a chance to do something.
He's holding on. John McCarthy, you saw him just say, you got a chance to do something right now, let's do it. I just don't think Nick Serra has the energy to hold him down.
Let's do something.
The ground game will always be part of the Ultimate Fighting Championship in mixed martial arts, but because of the fans, and this sport wants to appeal to the masses, that's the one change which has been a favorable change, and that is if it gets passive on the ground, McCarthy will stand them up.
Exactly, and you've seen the fans go crazy, especially for his brother Matt.
Yep.
His brother Matt is probably the most dynamic submission guy fighting right now. He just goes for submission after submission, goes from a triangle to an arm bar, transitions over and over again. That's exciting. When we saw him finish off Kelly Delante, the crowd went nuts, because that's exciting ground. Right now, Nick just needs to catch up a little. He's not at the level his brother Matt is.
Let's see if McCarthy stands him up with 90 seconds remaining.
He's going to stand him up again if it stays like this.
Yep.
Yeah, because Radach is not throwing punches. Serra's not working to better his position and try to get, grab an arm, maybe throw a leg over.
Benji's in no danger now, too, and he knows it. He knows Nick's fatigue.
Yep, there they go. Good job by Big John McCarthy. They stand him up again. Just over a minute remains in our third and final round.
See, Benji looks very happy on his feet.
Benji senses the knockout.
Very dangerous for Nick Serra against the ropes, especially.
Serra moved the head nicely, sprawled away, but it goes back down. Up they come again.
Force him to stand.
I'd like to see Radach possibly throw an uppercut or a knee. That could definitely stop Serra from shooting.
Absolutely, Jeff. Good call.
He's trying to sprawl and just try to avoid being taken down.
Serra's smiling.
That's what happens when you think about one thing. Right now, Benji Radach's right hand happy. Right there. Stand up, throw a knee.
30 seconds remains.
And they are both riding the clock out, I believe.
Nick Serra looks very tired.
Yeah, I think Radach has done enough to gain victory, but it'll be the judge's decision. As always, 3 judges score our bouts based on a 10-point must system, with the opponent getting 9 points or less. The fans count it down, and this one will go to the judges' cards.
I got to give that one to Radach.
Yeah, I agree, Joe.
Definitely showing that wrestling dominance. Was able to fend off probably 95% of those takedown attempts by Serra.
And the big choke opportunity that he got out of early might have been his most impressive counter.
Tried to utilize the chokes. Didn't work. Radach became smart to it and just wouldn't fall for it anymore.
Nick got very close in the beginning, and I just think he ran out of gas. I just think he didn't have the energy to pull him down. He didn't have the energy to close the guard again, to close that triangle off. He was very close at one time. If he wasn't against the fence right now, they might have been able to finish it.
Nick Serra, Matt Serra.
Mad Monkey style.
Mad Monkey style. You hear that? That's his brother's style.
Here's that right hand.
Oh, and a good one.
I think Serra wanted to go to his back. I don't know if that legitimately knocked him down or if he just wanted to go. Here's a better angle.
Yeah, see, you see right there the inherent problem with Nick Serra. He's very good at jiu-jitsu, but standing up, he's not a threat. So Benji's relaxed, Benji can throw his punches, and Nick is just trying to get away from him. All Benji has to do is look for the shoot and avoid it.
That's where the Renaissance fighter takes over, and the one that is more well-versed in the different disciplines, Joe and Jeff, is the one who will probably win this fight, because Radach with the nice strikes, has learned some submission game from Dennis Hallman, so let's just say he had 2 cards in his deck and Nick Serra had 1, and the second card may have made the difference. Judges have turned in their scorecards. Let's see who won this fight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. Judge Eddie Millis scores the bout 29-28. Judge A. Bilardo scores the bout 30-27. And Judge Tony Weeks scores the bout 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Benji the Razor Radach.
Good call, and this is nothing but a learning experience for Nick Serra, too.
The show of class and sportsmanship and unanimous decision goes to the Razor, Benji Radach.
What's that? Not only does he train with Dennis Hallman, they look like they could be brothers. Very tough guy, Benji Radach. A good wrestler, wants to stand on his feet and can knock you out.
Well, we have reached the top, we have reached the climax, we have reached the feature matchup here at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. The world's most luxurious hotel host to a fight that everyone has waited months for. Light heavyweight bout, elimination matchup between Vitor Belfort and the Iceman Chuck Liddell on the road to Tito here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I'll tell you what, guys, when you mention the name Vitor, and we have mentioned it before, it is a thrilling moment to those who remember the Vitor Belfort against Tank Abbott, Joe Rogan, or the Vitor Belfort who overwhelmed Vanderlei Silva.
That and Vitor Belfort is still only 23 years old, amazing as it seems. This is a very, very exciting fight for me. To me, this is like Christmas, my birthday, Happy New Year, April Fools, whatever. I can't wait for this fight. This fight is 1,000 times more important to me than Tyson Lewis. This is really, really going to be an interesting fight. To see which Vitor shows up, if he's going to throw down, if he's going to protect his hands. Vitor, we know in the past, had some hand problems, had several hand surgeries for broken hands. And Chuck Liddell, never seen him in this kind of shape before. Completely ripped, chiseled, totally focused. We saw him walking around earlier. Just looked like a murderer. He's just ready to go.
And for Chuck, he knows this is the time. He has waited for his chance to fight Tito. His chance could come to fight Tito if he can get past Vitor.
Yeah, the critics were kind of hard on Chuck there for a while about being passive, not throwing the bombs like he was. And to his credit, he defeated Guy Mezger in Pride. Yep. He beat people here in the UFC like Kevin Randleman, and Tito and Chuck are friends. Originally, I don't think they wanted to fight each other, but now they say if it comes down to it, and the money's right, I'll fight my friend, and it's going to happen, I believe, if Liddell can get past Belfort. Now, if he can't, that's another match I've been waiting to see since September of last year, and it took about 2 months to make that match, so right at a year. Either one of those guys are going to give Tito Ortiz a good run for the money.
Well, it's interesting because Vitor was injured. There was once a marquee with Vitor's name next to Tito's. We have been delayed on that process, but what is at stake today is an opportunity to meet the light heavyweight champion, Tito Ortiz, and become the new king of the light heavyweight hill. They've battled their way to the top of the light heavyweight class. It's an elimination fight on the road to the title. The winner of this bout will be the #1 contender for the light heavyweight championship. He exploded onto the scene at just 19 years old. He won the UFC 12 heavyweight tournament in just 2 minutes. His hand speed was unlike any seen before in the UFC. The phenom, Vitor Belfort, had arrived. In his last UFC appearance, Belfort destroyed Brazilian striker Vanderlei Silva in just 44 seconds. Now 10-2 in mixed martial arts, Belfort returns to the UFC to go after the light heavyweight crown. Standing in his way is Chuck Liddell. With a record of 9-1 in mixed martial arts, the Iceman has been waiting a long time for a shot at the title. At UFC 31, he shocked everyone when he knocked out former UFC heavyweight champion Kevin Randleman in less than 2 minutes. 3 weeks later, he went to Japan and knocked out top contender Guy Metzger. To earn his shot at the title, he now has to go through Brazilian Vitor Belfort. Up next, Belfort versus Liddell, as the top 2 light heavyweight contenders square off in the octagon. The winner walks out the #1 contender for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Well, there is a legitimate buzz in the ballroom here at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, and that last shot, Joe, was the shot I always think of. The last time we saw Vitor in the octagon was in Brazil when he took out Wanderlei Silva very quickly.
He did, but if you notice, Wanderlei Silva moved straight back. You're not going to see that from Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell's a very smart guy, and Chuck Liddell probably has the best takedown defense in all of the UFC. Fantastic takedown defense. Marulo Bustamante over and over again tried to take him down. He's a very, very tough guy. Experience-wise, it's even. This is a phenomenal fight. The only edge I give to Belfort is that he's fought bigger people. He's fought Tank Abbott, Trey Telligman, Scott Ferozzo. He's fought large guys. But then again, Chuck Liddell knocked out Kevin Randleman with one punch.
Yep.
Phenomenal fight. I can't even believe it's real. I can't even believe it's going to happen.
It's going to happen right here because the UFC is as real as it gets.
Waiting to do that.
You won't see this on Fear Factor.
Yeah, this is what I do before every one. I go, that's how I feel right now. I just can't believe it's real. This is better than Fear Factor. Fear Factor sucks compared to the UFC. I don't care. I'm telling you the truth.
Absolutely. And we feel that way about this matchup because we're so fired up about it. I said at the beginning of the show, Chuck has the power, Vitor has the speed, and you kind of looked at me, Jeff, like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Right.
I mean,
excuse me one sec. How's that go again? Okay. All right.
when they showed the graphics of Liddell and Belfort on the screen, there was a little buzz in the crowd. It really picked up. It's going to get interesting here in a few minutes because Wanderlei Silva is probably right now in pride. He is the real deal. He's defeated Sakuraba. He's done quite well, but Vitor Belfort just blew through him.
Right.
And that is going to be an interesting factor. If that's the Vitor Belfort we're getting here tonight, Liddell is going to be in some trouble.
Wanderlei's always had a porous defense, though. I mean, he's been dropped by a lot of guys that are very inferior, especially inferior strikers to Vitor. Vitor is an elite striker. Chuck Liddell's not going to back up like that. He's going to clinch. He's going to move to the side. He's going to grab the back of his head and try to knee him. Chuck Liddell's a very experienced striker.
One thing that I do know about Vitor, Sakuraba was able to land numerous leg kicks, numerous round kicks to the stomach, and it confused Belfort. Now, if Liddell can throw on those leg kicks like he has before, that's going to be one of his strengths in this fight.
Yeah, Vitor was doing very well in that fight until he broke his hand, and that's always the big if with Belfort. Belfort has soft hands. He's broken them 3 or 4 times. He broke them trying out for the Olympics in Brazil. He broke them on Sakuraba. Very, very big if Vitor's hands if they hold up.
Well, he hopes they don't break tonight, but believe me, he's going to try to land them to Chuck Liddell. The anticipation no longer is anticipation. The reality is set in. It is time for Vitor Belfort and Chuck Liddell on the road to the light heavyweight championship in Tito Ortiz. Our elimination bout. Liddell is victorious. Chuck Liddell.
Look at Liddell.
Oh my, there you go. Exactly as advertised. Liddell throws the punch. He connects. And this one is over quickly. The Iceman, Chuck Liddell.
Take a look at the crowd. Everybody is on their feet for this one.
Look at Chuck Liddell, cool, calm, and confident. That's the Iceman. He looks very ready.
He is an excellent kickboxer, a wrestling background to avoid that takedown, and he is well versed in submission. But tonight, I think we're going to see some banging.
They don't have a fear of going toe-to-toe. Chuck Liddell wants to remain the #1 contender for the light heavyweight crown. He's had a tough run, and he has beaten all but one. Suloev, Bustamante, Munson, Jones, Randleman have all gone down. And now we welcome back to the octagon the Phenom, Vitor Belfort.
The Phenom, Vitor Belfort.
The excitement shown by this crowd. Look at everybody in this place is on their feet. They have waited for the last 4 years to see the return of this young phenom in Vitor Belfort. An excellent boxer. As Joe stated, he tried out for the Brazilian Olympic boxing team. Lightning fast hands and a jiu-jitsu black belt. And everyone is pumped about this fight.
Tonight, it is not FIBA Las Vegas, it is Vitor Las Vegas as he gets set to take on Chuck Liddell. Man, it's good to see Vitor Belfort back inside the UFC. Tail of the tape, light heavyweight bout. 24 years old is Vitor Belfort, still a youngster. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as background, his hands as dangerous as any. In the UFC today, Chuck Liddell, we still call him, and I think justifiably so, the most devastating striker in the light heavyweight division. Will it be enough tonight against Vitor? Let's officially introduce to you the competitors in this, our elimination bout with the veteran voice of the octagon. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this UFC light heavyweight bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, with Dr. Luther Mack, Chairman, and Commissioners, Dr. Tony Alamo, Mr. Skip Avancino, Mr. John Bailey, and Dr. Flip Hamansky, with Mark Ratner, Executive Director. This bout is sponsored by the Gordon Biersch Brewing Company. Beer like it ought to be. And now, it's time to begin the main event of the evening. This fight is a 3-round UFC light heavyweight elimination bout. Beginning with the fighter standing to my left. He is a kickboxing expert with a mixed martial arts record of 6-1-0. Standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 204 pounds. Fighting out of San Luis Obispo, California. Please welcome the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. And his opponent, standing to my right, he is an expert in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing. He holds a mixed martial arts record of 10-2-0. Standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 205 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Introducing the Phenom, Vitor Belfort.
Here we go.
And when the action begins, a referee in charge is Big John McCarthy.
This elimination bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And Dr. Luther Mack, our judges assigned Cecil Peoples, Abe Bellardo, and Marcos Rosales. Tito Ortiz is the champion in the light heavyweight division. These two men inside the octagon want what is around Tito's waist. The Iceman, the Phenom, and we are set.
Right, here we go, you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
The wait is over. Vitor is back. Chuck doesn't care.
I had to pull my headset off to see if my speakers were distorting, and it was actually the crowd.
Liddell, he has the kicks.
That's one thing that Chuck has that Vitor doesn't. Vitor's been working on his kicks, but Chuck Liddell is a kick expert.
There's that low kick I spoke of a few minutes ago. If he can land about 6 of those hard ones, Vitor is going to think twice about closing the distance.
Now, Joe, you made an interesting comment before that Chuck will try to work on angles as Tito works for a very good, or pardon me, Vitor, a very good takedown. Oh, a strong takedown by Vitor Belfort. Maybe his game plan is the ground.
Wow, and like I said before, I think Chuck Liddell has the best takedown defense in all of mixed martial arts, and he's on his back right now. Well, back up, that's what I'm talking about.
And a knee eaten in the process.
That's very hard to do. What he just did is very hard to do. To get a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy has you on your back, a black belt like Vitor Belfort, and you get back standing, Chuck Liddell has excellent takedown defense.
Liddell is very unpredictable. He was even holding onto that fence, trying to avoid the takedown.
And, wow, he had to fight for that one again, Jeff.
Yeah, Belfort in the half guard. If he gets the right leg through, that is where he wants to be.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell does not want to be on his back right here.
And Chuck's a wrestler, which means he doesn't want to be on his back. He doesn't mind being on the ground, but not in this position.
And not against a guy like Belfort. He came out explosive. And I mean, it's one of the rare times you will see Liddell on his back.
Liddell understands submissions. Liddell knows how to defend, but it's still very, very dangerous water here. Vitor up. If Vitor passes his guard, then we're going to see something. Right now, Chuck in a defensive guard right here. He's okay.
You know, because of Vitor's love for striking and love for boxing, we thought he might want to go toe-to-toe with Chuck Liddell. So far, that doesn't seem like Vitor's game plan at all. He wants to be down here.
Chuck's going to walk the fence again. He's going to get his back to the fence. He's going to stand up. He's going to push back against the fence and use that leverage to stand back up.
But look at Belfort. He's got both legs. They are sucked in deep, and he is putting him down. Listen to this place.
Oh, my. The Bellagio is rocking here in Las Vegas.
Chuck Liddell is very tough. That is so hard to do. Back on his feet again. That's a lot of energy, too. Double underhooks.
We're throwing knee in there. That's what Liddell needs to do. Now Belfort up against the fence.
See, Vitor lifting that leg to try to prevent the attempt of the use of the legs by Chuck Liddell. That's good defense right there by Vitor.
It is, but this has been the knock on Belfort in the past. When things don't go his way, he kind of dies off. He loses his aggression. Right now, Chuck Liddell is taking over this fight. Chuck Liddell got double underhooks. Vitor Belfort does not look as aggressive. He looks like he's a little fatigued. And Chuck Liddell looks to be taking over right now. We saw this happen with Randy Couture. Vitor has an initial big flurry, and when it doesn't work his way, he dies off a little.
And those are hard knees to the side of that right thigh of Belfort. Those will hurt you. They will knock that nerve out. Look at that forearm. A big shot by Chuck Liddell.
All right, under 90 seconds remains in round one. This is, even though it's an elimination bout, it is a non-championship bout, so we're scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And they're both looking towards solar plex damage here, and Liddell trying to do a little bit of his on Vitor.
Liddell's got excellent body punches here. He looks to be much more aggressive than Vitor. You see how Vitor's kind of relaxing right now?
And look at that quick switch.
And back up, going with the kick. Vitor trying to answer, and here they go toe-to-toe.
Chuck Liddell does not think Vitor can go 3 hard rounds. He's going to press him now. I've never seen Chuck in this kind of shape either. Look at his six-pack. He's chiseled. We've seen Chuck in the past before. He looked a little overweight. He looked a little slow.
Oh, there's a good kick by Vitor Belfort inside of the left knee of Chuck Liddell.
I was not expecting that out of Belfort.
That's taking a page out of Chuck's book.
First time I've ever seen Vitor throw a leg kick, I think.
Vitor is looking much more poised and pacing himself.
Not only did he throw it, he landed it.
He looks a little fatigued and a little passive. Chuck with a nice leg kick.
See, Vitor waited for the counter.
See, this is Chuck Liddell's game. If Vitor wants to trade leg kicks with Chuck Liddell, he's gonna lose.
Yep. And Chuck has the reach advantage at 6'2". Although Vitor's tall, he's 6 foot, but still, Chuck with the arms and legs.
Very good round, very good round.
You know what, we've waited a long time for this one, and through 5 minutes, it's everything that anyone could expect.
You can already see the welts developing on Vitor's leg.
I see in Vitor's corner, I His name escapes me, but he is a top-notch Brazilian. No, a top-notch Brazilian Muay Thai coach. This guy coaches some of the best Muay Thai fighters out of Brazil, and he's in Vitor's corner.
Left more and bomb those leg kicks. Okay? Forget high kicks right now. And keep working the jab. Agree.
We listen into the corner of Liddell, and we look at Vitor. I mean, this was an aggressive takedown.
Yeah, look at Chuck. He holds the fence, trying to avoid it. Vitor picks him up.
I believe Vitor's Muay Thai coach is Paulo Nicolai.
Yeah, Paulo Nicolai, yes. You mentioned that guy's name in Brazil, and it's going to turn some heads.
A lot of very, very tough Muay Thai guys coming out of Brazil. Of course, the shoot box guys.
How about our champion, Murilo Bustamante? And the Brazilian top team, Tito, looking on. He is more than a casual observer of this one.
Chuck Liddell is pressing this fight.
A partisan crowd chants USA. The American against the Brazilian.
I'd like to see Vitor let loose.
Oh,
Vitor
man.
looks a little passive right here.
You and the entire nation watching live tonight in Brazil. Vitor Belfort. You want to talk about turn heads? Mention his name in Brazil.
That leg kick was very defensive. He kicked and then he moved away.
Yeah, this being shown live on free TV, or not live, on tape delay for the first time ever in Brazil, following Star Wars. Look at that high kick.
And a couple of stars with a war going on inside the octagon.
I can't believe Belfort just threw a high kick.
Well, we've seen the low and the high from Vitor.
See, but this is the thing. If he starts trading kicks with Chuck, he's going to lose. Chuck Liddell is a better kicker than Vitor Belfort. He's got much more experience using it in the octagon. This is the first time, no matter how much...
Oh, the left. He slipped. Vitor slipped.
And the leg kick probably had something to do with that slip.
Yep. You know, but he's trying to take the leg kick and size it up for a left. That's the second time we've seen Vitor try to counter off a kick by Chuck Liddell.
No matter how much Vitor's been training in leg kicking, that's Chuck Liddell's game.
Oh,
Chuck Liddell with a nice right hand.
Tried to fake the kick and land the right, and Vitor closes the gap.
Chuck Liddell looks like he's taking over this fight.
Look at that forearm by Liddell. That collided with impact on Belfort's head.
A good thing to note is Vitor took this fight on 4 weeks' notice.
Vitor had been scheduled to fight Tito earlier. That did not happen. An injury during training to Belfort. Then he starred in a television series in Brazil for a bit. Then he wanted to fight. And the time came in an elimination matchup here. The fight he gets is a heck of a one with Chuck Liddell, his opponent.
And that was a high knee by Chuck Liddell. Vitor's leaning his head over. If he goes too far, he'll need another one.
You see how Chuck Liddell brings that knee on the outside, then comes back to Vitor's thigh? Very painful. He brings it around outside the leg and then digs into the meat of the thigh. Right there. This is Chuck's world.
They're going to break it apart.
Vitor wants to box or he wants to be on the ground. He does not want to be in a kickboxing bout with Chuck Liddell.
So how does he turn it into a boxing bout, Jeff?
He's got to step in and blast. He's got to do his thing, but I don't think he has the energy.
Oh! Spinning
turning back kick to the body. Very nice.
How good was that?
And
very nice.
That was the beginning. Oh,
the left by Vitor.
Liddell's got a hell of a chin. It's going to take more than one punch. What a war.
Great spinning back kick.
And in the Sakuraba fight, that was the beginning of the end for Vitor, but he came back and he threw a bomb that connected.
Chuck Liddell looks like the aggressor in this fight, though. Right there. Oh, he faked the kick. Faked the kick and step in with the punch. It's an old Muay Thai trick.
That's the second time he has used that technique. The first time he landed a pretty good right. That time Vitor was ready.
Vitor looks to just step in with a left hand. He's down to one punch now. He looks like he's just looking to step in and blast with a left hand.
1:15 remains in round number 2. Vitor Belfort back in the UFC for the first time since 1998, when he destroyed Vanderlei Silva in 44 seconds.
Again, you see the difference. Vitor lands a leg kick and he backs away. He landed the kick and moved away. Chuck Liddell lands a kick, he's going forward.
Belfort checked that kick. Liddell threw it. Belfort lifts his leg up.
Tried it again. That time nothing going. Vitor was ready. But now Vitor needs to become the aggressor at some point. As Joe's talked about, Liddell has been full force the aggressor, especially here in round 2.
Vitor's energy looks very passive. If you look at there he goes. You look at the way he's standing there, though, he doesn't look like he's going to explode. Chuck looks very aggressive and very alert. Vitor looks like he's conserving himself.
Chuck was criticized for being passive and not being aggressive before, and there he goes.
Yeah, Chuck is not going to make that mistake again. Although he won that matchup that you alluded to, he's not going to make the mistake of being passive again. Too much on the line. 10 seconds remains in round 2.
All right, Vitor's going to try to close out the round. You see him pick up the pace right there?
High kick! And a good one. Vitor with a high kick. Something for the judges to think about.
As soon as you heard the stamping on the ground, indicating that the round was 10 seconds over, that's when Vitor picked up his energy. That to me tells me he's tired. Vitor is not in the best shape he could be in. He's conserving his energy. Chuck Liddell is in excellent shape and he's pressing the entire time.
Cadê o balde?
This is Chuck Liddell's fight.
Puderam entrar, pô. Cadê o balde?
Espera a luta, vem atacar, solta a mão. Puxa o balão pra você esse round. Vamos lá, guarda. Tá puxando você esse round. Victor, you're behind. You got a box with them, Victor.
Here's a look at that spinning back kick. Steps in, bam!
A little lower and that would have put him down.
There it is, right to the side of the ribs, but Belfort very muscular. You got to break through all that muscle.
You don't want to catch that kick under the lat. That kick is for the floating ribs. That kick is lower. Still, excellent kick.
Liddell with that 20-2 record in kickboxing has, for the most part, turned this into a kickboxing match.
And that's Chuck Liddell's world. Oh, there we go.
So what does Vitor do differently here?
What he's got to do is land a big punch, but the problem is Chuck knows to look for the left hand over and over again, and when Vitor lands a leg kick, he moves away. That tells Chuck that Vitor's tired, and Chuck's already indicated, he's already said he doesn't think Vitor can go 3 hard rounds. And you know what? He's probably right. Vitor's looking to throw one punch.
If Vitor can finish this round the whole 5 minutes like he finished the last 10 seconds in the second round, he would be okay.
He's got to engage, though.
I still think Chuck won the first 2 rounds.
Yep. Even with that flurry at the end.
Oh,
tried the spinning back fist, and that did not work.
Chuck Liddell goes old school PKA.
Chuck Liddell, they call the most devastating striker in the light heavyweight division. He has shown a wide variety of strikes here.
Nice leg kick by Chuck.
Belfort being very, very passive. He's going to need to turn it up and finish solidly in this 3rd and final round. I wonder what's going through the mind of Tito Ortiz right about now.
You can just see it in yeah, there he goes. You can just see Vitor's looking for a left kick or a left punch. You can see it over and over again.
And Belfort defending the lower leg kicks, picking his leg up. This forces Liddell to kick his knee, and that's very painful.
Oh, nice right hand! Vitor's rocked!
Oh, Vitor comes back with a left.
But you know what? That didn't hurt Chuck. Chuck's right hand hurt Vitor.
That looked like a pretty step left to me by Belfort.
Oh, and there's a high
Chuck
kick.
Liddell's got a hell of a chin.
Blocked by Chuck Liddell.
And a lot of that is probably conditioning.
What can Vitor do now in 3 minutes if he wants to have a chance to move up the ladder? And a potential matchup with Tito Ortiz. There's another high kick by Vitor.
Blocked by Chuck.
Again by Chuck.
Chuck knows he only has to look out for one side. He's looking out for the left kick or the left punch.
You know, we said that it was Chuck we thought who needed combinations. We haven't seen Vitor utilize any of those combinations.
Nice.
And we know he has combination ability, Jeff.
And there was a left and a right hook. It didn't connect, but he does need to put those together. That was the key to his success.
No question.
You see a mouse under the right eye of Vitor. Chuck's punches are landing.
This is not the same UFC it was when Belfort was beating Tank Abbott, Scott DeRosa. And there, Belfort's trying to move forward now. It's Belfort who's pressing this fight.
Yeah, he has to. He's got the skills.
He's behind.
Yep, he knows he's behind. He's got the skills. Will he throw some combinations? Will Chuck allow him?
Still a long time to go. A minute 55.
Yeah.
A long time.
Only takes a split second.
Chuck looks to be slowing down a little. His mouth is open here. He's catching his breath. He's expended a lot of energy pressing the fight for the first 2 rounds.
He's throwing a lazy jab.
Yes, exactly. I was just about to say that. That's what's dangerous for Chuck. He's leaving his hand out there, and the counter for that is a straight left, which is the best punch Vitor has. Look, he's looking for it right there.
Vitor senses it. Vitor trying to close in. There's some combinations. Vitor, Belfort. Here he comes.
Oh, beautiful right hand. Beautiful right hand.
Can he finish it? They are on their feet at the Bellagio.
Nice leg kicks. He's been there before with Sakuraba, where Sakuraba punished him on the ground with leg kicks. And Chuck Liddell's doing the same thing here.
Vitor had it. He had his combination, and Chuck countered with a right that landed. And that took the momentum right out of Vitor's corner. That might be the turning point in this matchup.
He dropped him solid. Belfort.
A lot of blood. There's a lot of blood. I think it's coming from Vitor's eye.
He dropped him solid right after Vitor put forth his most impressive 15 seconds. Looked like the Vitor of old.
Exactly. He appeared to be pouring it on, and he got stuck with a hard one and dropped. And now he's against the fence.
There is not a single body in their seats right now. 20 seconds remains. Has Liddell taken the road to Tito?
If there was anyone's doubt as to who was winning the fight, it was solidified there with the big shot from Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell, here in Las Vegas, the American, staying strong against the Brazilian. It's over. It's all over. Time has expired, and we will render a judge's decision. Of fireworks.
I haven't seen a crowd reaction like this in a long, long time. And Tito Ortiz was just cheering his friend on.
Inside the octagon.
And here's that exchange, Mike. And check it out. Belfort with a big left. But Liddell shrugs it off.
Now, it's like Vitor, it's like he got into his game here a little bit, Jeff, and you and I both sat up in our seats. We sensed it, and then bam! That was it.
Yeah, Belfort looking away and right on the button. All it takes is one, just like that. But Belfort strung it out to the end of the round and finished the fight. But it appears that Liddell will face one of his best friends in the business, Tito Ortiz, eventually.
They are giving him a heck of a round of applause here. Chuck Liddell. There he is. Chuck Liddell is looking for Tito Ortiz. In the audience, he has found him. He gives him a smile and comes to the center of the ring as Bruce Buffer has received the judges' scorecards. Will it be
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards for this UFC light heavyweight elimination bout. Judge Cecil People scores it 30-27. Judge A. Bellardo scores it 30-27. Judge Marcos Rosales scores it 29-28 for the winner, the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Let's have a big hand for Vitor Belfort.
Chuck, first of all, congratulations.
position to go 3 hard rounds with you?
Well, I thought if I kept pressing him, I could take the fight from him. I mean, he hung in there a lot longer than I thought he would. But, you know, I caught him sooner or later, and it hurt him.
Well, you looked in fantastic shape. Is this the best shape you've ever been for a fight?
Yeah, I'd have to say so. I'm in real good shape. I was ready to go another 2 rounds if I needed to.
Did it surprise you that Vitor wanted to trade strikes with you, kicking, that he wanted to kickbox with you, knowing that you were the superior kicker?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I think he thought he could sneak some of those kicks in, but I train with that all the time, and it's not happening.
All right, well, Chuck, fantastic performance. Now, I know you've been a top contender in the light heavyweight division for a long time. Are you looking for a title shot now?
Yeah, definitely. I think Tito's already got something scheduled, but after that, yeah.
Well, Tito's your good friend. I know you guys are training partners. Is that going to affect you when you guys fight?
Of course, I'd be lying if I said it didn't, but you know, it's the part of the game, it's part of the business, so we'll be friends. Up until then, fight time, it's all business.
Here he is, the light heavyweight champ of the UFC, Tito Ortiz. Tito, what do you think about your friend Chuck's performance?
All I gotta say is thanks, Chuck. You owe me $1,000 tonight. Wow, awesome. He deserves everything he got. Man, we've been working our butts off in this octagon. Well, it looks like me and him are next. I got a little thing before him, though, a little Ken Shamrock. We got some bad vibes, gotta take care of with him. I'm gonna shut him up and go put him back to the litter box. But after that, it'll be me and Chuck. So I just get a little warm-up fight with the old Ken Slamcock, or excuse me, Shamrock.
Whoa, the gauntlet has been thrown down. Now, Tito, I know you and Chuck are very good friends and training partners. How do you step in and fight a good friend?
Well, we stopped after he fought Bustamante. We stopped training with each other because we knew once in a while we're going to have to get in here at one time or another. So, I mean, I don't know. I've been watching Chuck since he's been fighting. Same thing with him. He's watching since I've started. And just got to pick it apart and put a game plan together. And it's going to be hard, man. All you guys at home, it's going to be a huge fight. Me and Chuck Liddell, I don't know. I just got to sit back, let it happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a fan, I think that's probably the most fantastic fight I could ever possibly imagine. I hate to see you two guys fight because you are friends, but as a fan, I'm looking forward to it more than anything.
Hey, we may be friends, all business aside, all friendships aside. This is my octagon. Sorry to say it, but Chuck may get a loss. I mean, no bad blood or anything, but at the same time, it's strictly business.
All right, well, you heard it from the champ. Chuck Liddell, congratulations. Back to you guys.
What a classy Tito Ortiz. And when they meet, it will be something special. And it's funny, Tito letting a little bit out of the bag too. Contract negotiations, we want to make sure stay in place. But look for Ken Shamrock to return to the octagon to fight Tito. Tito plans on getting through that one. Tito does. And then we would see Chuck Liddell. All kinds of news, Jeff.
Yeah, that is bad blood from years.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few years ago with Ken Shamrock. Tito told me, I'm going to talk enough stuff about Shamrock to make him fight me. And I didn't want to say anything throughout the broadcast, but that is in the works, and my hat's off to Super for that, because I want to see that. But and even Chuck Liddell, man, he said he's in the best shape of his life, but he's going to have to get in a little bit better to get in there with the champ.
And let us not discount what Chuck Liddell has done. He has defeated the phenom Vitor Belfort and proven to be truly the #1 contender in the light heavyweight division. All right, our submission of the night brought to you by Tap Out. And how about the turn of events, Jeff, in our submission of the night?
Yeah, this is tapoutinyourface.com. Always here for the submission of the night. And take a look at this. Never expected this. Pete Spratt, a Muay Thai fighter, whips the leg over, extends that arm, and just as you pull down on the wrist, pop, and that is it. The tap out of the night, the secret weapon, Pete Spratt.
Pete Spratt, our submission of the night, brought to you by our friends at tapoutinyourface.com. Well, truly a big bash here at the Bellagio, and success again for the Ultimate Fighting Championship on what will go down as an historic evening. For Vitor Belfort and Chuck Liddell, everything we thought it would be. Joe Rogan and Jeff Osborne, they went toe-to-toe. They gave the fans everything, and then even a little more so.
Yeah, Vitor started exploding like the Vitor of old, and he ended up getting caught and dropped. And in my opinion, that was the beginning of the end for him. And Liddell comes out as the man to fight Ortiz down the road. That is going to be one that you always play better with your best friend. So if those two bring their best game, we're in for a treat.
And before we get Joe's final thoughts, how about the cat coming out of the bag to a certain degree with Ken Shamrock, a possible future opponent for Tito Ortiz?
I've been following that one for about a month now. Tito told me I'm going to keep on talking till he starts fighting. And even though Ken Shamrock has went back to professional wrestling, he wants to fight in mixed martial arts. And the rumor is he's working on a 3-fight deal with the UFC. We don't know if it's signed yet or not, but it's in the works. So that is one I want to see.
Well, it's funny, you know what I think you wanted to see, Joe Rogan, was a return to the UFC. For you, I saw you act like a kid today. I saw you become a big fan again. Your passion is true, it is unique, and it is sincere.
Well, I'm always a big kid when the UFC's on. It literally is my favorite sporting event. It's my favorite thing to watch on television. Tonight, as a fan, I couldn't have been happier. Fantastic fights. We saw Robbie Lawler break out on network television. We saw Chuck Liddell finally emerge to the very top of the light heavyweight ladder. Couldn't have asked for anything more. Fantastic fights.
How great have these fighters become? And I know we use the phrase great a lot and perhaps overuse it, but they truly are unique, and they are the most well-versed and most unique fighters in the world.
Well, we are clearly in an adolescent stage of the evolution of these fighters. We are losing guys who are just exploiting the system. Like I say, guys like Pedro Hizzo, who only stand and strike. And then they go to the ground and they just hold and wait. You got new guys like Pete Spratt. They go to the ground and they finish you. You think you're safe taking a guy down like that on his back, you bring him back up, he's going to knock you out, you put him on his back, he's going to strangle you or get you in an armbar. These are the complete fighters. These fighters are the future of the UFC.
Here in Vegas, the better card you have, the better chance you have
Absolutely.
of reigning victorious, and certainly we saw that with our fighters today. And once again, an evening that will be remembered, not just here at the Bellagio, but worldwide, in the effect that this particular card tonight had on the future of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Pierini and Yves Edwards, and as Joe Rogan said, you don't stand in exchange with a kickboxer, and it proved costly. Yves Edwards received his first victory. How about Tony Fryklund out of the Militich camp, taking on the nephew of the legendary Marco Ruas, Rodrigo Ruas. From the get-go, it was all Tony Fryklund with drive and force. And finally, the finish of Rodrigo Ruas. The first time the UFC hit free TV, courtesy of the best damn sports show, period, on Fox Sports Net. Steve Berger and ruthless Robbie Lawler. The first 5 minutes, we saw just about everything. The second round did not go very deep, as then we saw vintage Robbie Lawler, ruthless, finishing his opponent, Steve Berger. Jeff talked about Pete Spratt. Joe said, here's your new Renaissance guy taking on Zach Light. Spratt, the man we thought was the world-class striker, and he is, did more than strike. He submitted. He won by submission against a man who was not supposed to have that happen to him. Pete Spratt, victorious in his UFC debut. Nick Serra, the baby Terra. Matt Serra's little brother against Benji Radach. Radach had something to prove. His first time in the octagon, a controversial stoppage. There was no stopping Benji Radach here at the Bellagio as he bombed and bombed again. And Nick Serra had no defense for Benji Radach's right, left, knees and arms. And the night finally finished for Nick Serra as Benji Radach did what he wanted, and that was reign victorious here in the octagon. And finally, the feature matchup, the elimination bout. #1 contender fight between Vitor Belfort and the Iceman Chuck Liddell. Put simply, Chuck Liddell has never looked better. His fight skills have never been displayed finer. As he struck and struck again, Vitor had a chance until that right was the beginning of the end. And Chuck Liddell's road to Tito continues. For everyone here at the Ultimate Fighting Championship, so long, everybody.